Hi, and welcome to our show. I'm your host, Tom Lemons. There are over 1 million divorces each year in this country, many of which result in custody battles. We spoke to one Spring Hill man who tells us his story and says the justice system is failing him. Michael Cichon, business owner, father, and until a few months ago shared a home with his wife, Tamara, and their 3 children. Michael says all that came to an end last December when a judge ordered him out of his home for opposing psychiatric treatment recommended for his autistic son. We'll be back after this message. Welcome back. We're here with Mike Cichon. Mike, how you doing?
Very good.
Good. Mike, tell us, we understand that you're going through a difficult time right now. You have some children and you're going through a divorce. It's going to involve a custody battle. But yours seems a little bit unique in that, your children are now with your your soon-to-be ex-wife.
Correct.
You were thrown out of your house.
Asked to leave, yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Can you give us a little background on how this began? I mean, what caused the separation to begin with?
Long story short, a little bit over a year ago, I found out that my wife was talking to another guy. Now, after a year of begging her to go to counseling, she decided to go through a divorce.
Initially, did you move out of the home?
No, we went to the first hearing, and my attorney at the time told me, you know, Mike, you guys don't have the cash flow to afford 2 homes, so you know what's most likely going to happen is there's no history of violence. You're probably going to have to stay in the house and cohabitate until the divorce is finalized. Well, that hearing did not go as I anticipated. The judge ordered me after that one hearing on basically hearsay, without a shred of evidence, without a shred of witnesses saying that yes, that's true. He ordered me out of the house in 24 hours.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. You were ordered out of the house, but this really comes down to your son, who's been diagnosed with autism, correct?
He's in the autistic spectrum, but he's a high-functioning autistic child. If you would see him with me, you probably would not know that he's autistic. If you see him with my wife at times, he misbehaves more, and you could probably pick up on it.
But basically, he does need some kind of medical treatment.
Of course.
Some type of
He needs
care.
treatment. I mean, there's a school of thought that autism can be treated with mechanisms of therapy and coping, and that's what we were doing, and I was fine with it all. There's good and bad doctors in every field. You know, there's some doctors that just want to medicate, and right now, my wife is going down this medication route with a doctor that has poor reviews, and I have no say.
So your biggest complaint, really, and I think any parent has a right to decide on what kind of treatment that their child receives. But you were basically told that now, at this point, you're limited to visitation because you did not agree with the opinion of a psychiatrist. What's the psychiatrist's name?
Well, it's Dr. Karen Goldberg.
Karen Goldberg
at USF, but it's not the opinion so much, because my wife took my son to her without my approval. I didn't even know she was going there. She called me up one day at work to say that my son misbehaved and that he got frightened and that the police came. And I just was like, you know, what happened here? Because my son does misbehave at times. He's sick of being prodded. He was born with a pulmonary heart disease, so he's been through doctor's offices and getting blood tests and blood work his whole life. This one doctor called the police. 2 squad cars came to the building, terrified my son. And so when I got wind of this, I said on your next meeting, I want to go down there because I want to have some words with this doctor.
Right. Were you even aware that the child was going to this doctor?
No, no, not at the time. Okay. And so that's what I did. I waited till the 20-minute session was done, and at the very end, I told the doctor, I go, honestly, I don't think you should have called the police. You terrified my son. And I said, honestly, I don't think you should be dealing with special needs children. And my statement is what upset her. But during the hearing, my wife's attorney, my wife got her to write a letter, which is hearsay, saying that I don't acknowledge my son's autism.
What is what is the judge's opinion of why he, in your words, why he felt the need to limit, which we'll get into that a little bit more in a few minutes, is the limitations that he has with his children. But why did the judge feel that you needed to be limited with the time that you're spending with your children right now?
Well, I don't know why what happened. After the first hearing, I got ordered to leave within 24 hours, and I was giving really strict visitations with my children. I can only see my 3 kids for 1 hour, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then at church on Sunday. Well,
did the judge give an opinion as to why he was going to, what was the motion based on? Is it strictly because of this, of Dr. Goldberg's opinion in the letter that she wrote to the judge?
I don't know why. I've consulted with attorney after attorney after attorney. No one can tell me definitively why my visitation is so restrictive.
Now, something else happened that makes this even more interesting, is that your wife was recently arrested for domestic battery. Can you tell us a little bit how that occurred?
On this particular night, she came out of her car, she came to me. I had $500 in my hand that I was going to give her. I just wanted her to sign the receipt, which she wasn't willing to do. And she tried to get the money out of my hands. And my natural reaction is she's coming because she was driving away. So I went back to my car, then I hear, give me that. And I turned around and she's like 2 or 3 feet away from me, and she's reaching for the money. So I naturally just went up. And this video on the ATM even caught it. I never pushed her. I never knocked her down, which I could have easily have done. I just held the money up in the air, and she was trying to pull me down to the ground. Well, after what seemed to be a long period of time, she eventually stopped and went back to her car. Again, my 3 kids were in the car at the time.
Was she physically hitting you?
There's a witness there who thought I was being robbed, and he claims that, yes, my wife was hitting me in the back.
Right? For you file for a motion for an injunction? Is that correct?
What happened is, this is only a week and a half since the judge ordered me out of the house, and the deputies that were there said, Mike, what you need to do is on Monday morning go to the courthouse and file a restraining order. So I grabbed my 3 kids, we went down to Clearwater, we had a blast. DCF called me. They had a deputy from Pinellas County come to visit me to make sure the kids were okay, and everything was fine. Both that deputy down there as well as DCF told me file a restraining order come Monday. Get the injunction, and what's going to happen, because judges hate to see children witness violence, you most likely will get the kids back, and you'll get your house back because they want the kids to be in their home.
So law enforcement officer told you this, as well as the Department of Children and Families agent.
Yes.
Told you this too.
And once the house was empty, I got the kids together. We went in the house. We had a blast. That evening, the doorbell rang, and the police officer that did the arrest was very apologetic and said, Mike, I hate to tell you this, but I got to remove you from the house. I said, I understand. I go, but the kids have to stay. And he said, yeah, the kids have to stay. They see their dad for 4 hours a week. And I think you need to understand that I live for my family.
Right.
My daughters are asking me, can I go home with you? Can we be with you? And every visitation, I'm telling you, you got to wait. You got to wait. And they're sick of waiting. And I think their spirit is dying. They're losing hope.
What's the next step? What do we have coming up?
I don't know. The judge also ordered me to pay more money than I make to my wife, which I can't do. So I might be in contempt of court. I might go to prison. I can't see my kids. I can't, the worst of it is I can't even go on my school grounds to talk to my children's teachers. Because Tammy was arrested, it's my understanding, the judge didn't want her to violate her no contact order with me. So he prohibited me from going to my children's school.
So she can go to the school?
Yes.
You can't?
Yes.
She's been arrested for domestic violence. You haven't?
Yes.
She has the kids in the house. You don't?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm missing something.
No, because I'm up to 2 o'clock in the morning studying about divorce, studying about custody. And the one thing they warn you about is if you're angry with your spouse, don't touch them because it's going to affect your custody of the kids.
Right.
And I'm looking at what I'm reading article after article after article, and I'm looking at my story. I'm saying, why? Why is this the case? I had my teacher for my son say, Mike, come and have lunch with your son, because he felt sympathetic. And got to the front desk, and they scanned my ID like they do at schools. They said, we can't let you in. And what's worse about it is when I talked to my son David afterwards, he goes, well, you're a stranger, so they won't let you in. I was like, what do you mean I'm a stranger? She said, well, the school, the people at the front desk said that because you're a stranger, they're not going to let you in.
During these times that you spend with your child each week, you also have someone else showing up.
An ex-police officer.
So this is not supervised visitation?
No, I didn't know who he was. He walked up to me and something to the effect that, Mr. Cichon, I've been hired by Jeff Carriel, and I want you to know that you need to abide by the court order, and if you don't abide by the court order, I'm going to be monitoring it, and I will be something to the fact that he'll be there to testify against me.
Steve, I'm going to let you know, I'm turn my recorder on because David's really scared right now, and I'm going to ask you as a polite request, can you please go somewhere where he can't see you?
No, I'm here because of Jeff Carriel.
So what's your direction from Jeff Carriel? Because my son's scared, and the judge said, listen, the judge said there should be no interference in my visiting time, and right now my son is scared. So what's your purpose?
All right, I'm not going to talk to you, so just go back to your son.
So you're refusing to leave?
Yes.
Okay.
Public place.
What really led to Judge Neal's decision to remove Mike from his home and place strict limitations on visiting his children? Was it Mike's opposition of Dr. Goldberg's method in treating his son's autism? Or was it his wife's claim that Mike had become a religious fanatic? Should a judge remove children from a parent based solely on testimony during a temporary relief hearing? How much control should the judicial system have in deciding what kind of treatment your children should receive when the condition is not life-threatening? I spoke with Tamara Cichon's attorney, Sam Lee, who says it's not uncommon in a temporary relief hearing for a judge to err on the side of caution when it comes to the safety of children, even when the only evidence is a petitioner's testimony. Lee says Hernando County courts are burdened with too few judges and clerks, making it difficult to handle the exorbitant number of domestic-related cases. Unfortunately, this sometimes leads to an unfair division of time sharing, at least on a temporary basis. The battle continues for the Cichon family as they return to court next month. Maybe then they can find some common ground. Reporting from Brooksville, I'm Tom Lemons. Well, Mike, I wish you the best of luck, and we hope that it does work out for you. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.